At the very beginning of this quarantine, I had complete confidence and trust and faith in the information that we were being given in the captain's announcements. But I realized mid-interview that I had been a little bit naive in believing that Diamond Princess was going to be as transparent as possible with me.
So we're getting an all-new look at what exactly happened aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship after a COVID outbreak turned it into a floating nightmare in a new documentary. Emmy Award-winning director, Hell of a Cruise, Nick Quested joining us live this morning. Nick, good morning to you. And this takes us right back to the onset of the pandemic. So much fear because there was a lot we didn't know. What was the most shocking thing that you uncovered while digging into this doomed cruise?
I mean, some of the stories from the passengers have never been told before, and it was really the interviews with the passengers that again and again were providing us with stories that we just couldn't believe. You know, some of the stories are the story of the repatriation of the Costa Luminosa, with people collapsing in the aisles of the plane and then not being triaged when they got back to America, and just, you know, flying to, you know, over 70 different destinations in the US, having been exposed to COVID. You know, that was probably the most shocking single story, but it was really, you know, just the accumulation of the passengers' accounts that as a whole becomes, you know, shocking and frightening.
And now, even at the time, you know, thanks to social media or no thanks, I guess we all followed along in horror as these people were imprisoned on that ship. And in retrospect, was this handled properly and humanely?
Well, I think that it's hard to fault someone when you've never faced this type of infectious disease before. I mean, it was literally a novel coronavirus. So the Diamond Princess, you know, there were certain harsh choices made where the crew weren't quarantined in the same way as the passengers. But, you know, there's the unknown at that point. But what was shocking was the fact that, having experienced one COVID outbreak on a ship and having all the data and understanding what happened when COVID is on a ship, that the ships kept on sailing.
Right. So let me ask you, what did we learn from all this?
Well, I think there's a few things to learn. I think the first thing is that if we do face a infectious disease of this type of nature, that as a country, we respond to it as a public health emergency rather than as a political crisis, and that we can find some type of unity in response. I think it was some politicians were craven in their use of the pandemic for personal gain. And I also think you need to understand that when you step on a cruise ship, you're stepping out of America and into the jurisdiction of a country that doesn't have the same type of consumer protections for the passengers, and no type of labor laws that reflect the type of working conditions that you'd hope that everyone would endure. So, you know, I think that there should be some scrutiny into how cruise ships operate, when they leave an American port.
Some valid points made. Hell of a Cruise, streaming now on Peacock. Nick Quested, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.